Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we're going to be going over the Big 7 division strategy. And it's called the Big 7 because we extend our house down and it makes it look like a 7. So we're going to be dividing 794 by 7. So our divisor goes outside the house and our dividend goes inside the house, which is 794. Now with Big 7, we're going to be extending a line down this way, and we're going to be keeping track of our groups of 7, or our groups of our divisor that we take out. So we have to figure out how many times 7 can go into 700. And we can go ahead, we can subtract 7 all the way out, but for it to be a little bit more quicker, we can subtract by groups of 7, like by 10s, 20s, 30s, hundreds, stuff like that. But before we do this, I want us to write down some of our multiples of 7 that we can think of easy off the top of our head. We know 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 10 is 70. And we know if we add a 0 to any of these, we would just add a 0 to our product. So now we're going to go ahead and figure out how many times, what our biggest number that we can multiply 7 by and subtract it. We're trying to get the biggest groups of it. So 7 can go into 700 how many times? We can subtract it by, we can multiply 7 times 10 and subtract 70. We can also, if we add one more 0 to 10, we can subtract it 7 times 100, which gives us 700. So we're going to write 100 right here. 7 times 100 gives us 700. So we're going to write our product right here and subtract it. So 4 minus 0 is 4. 9 minus 0 is 9. 7 minus 7 is 0. Now we have to figure out how many, our biggest number, 7, can go into 94 how many times. So 7 can go into 90 how many times? We can do a group of 10. We can't do a group of 100 because that would be too big. Well, we can do a group of 10. So 7 times 10 gives us 70. And we subtract that. So 4 minus 0 is 4. 9 minus 7 gives us 2. With this one, we can't do another group of 7. Another group of 10. But we can do a group of 2. So we can do a group of 2. So 7 times 2 gets us 14. So we can do a group of 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. So we're going to subtract 14. 4 minus 4 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. All right. So we can't do another group of 2 because it's just too big. But we can do a group of 1. So 7 times 1 is 7. And we'll subtract that. 0 minus 7, we can't do that, so we have to go and borrow from the tens place value. So this 1 becomes a 0, and this 0 becomes a 10. So 10 minus 7 is 3, and then we have our 0 right there. And 3 is too big or too small for 7 to go into, so we're going to be stopping right there. Now we have to add up all of these numbers and get our quotient. And this leftover 3 is going to be our remainder. So we're going to add 100 plus 10, which gives us 110. 110 plus 2, which gives us 112. 112 plus 1 gives us 113. So we do have to do our multiplication check just to make sure we get our correct dividend. So we're going to multiply our quotient, which is 113, by our divisor, which is 7. So 7 times 3 is 21. We write our 1 here, carry our 2. 7 times 1, 7, plus 2 is 9. 7 times 1 is 7. And then we add our remainder of 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Bring down our 9, bring down our 7. And it matches our dividend. So our quotient is 113, remainder 3. So that was example 1. Now example 2. So we are going to be dividing 432 divided by 2. So we're going to draw our little house with 2 as our divisor and on the outside, and 432 as our dividend on the inside. We're going to extend our line to create a big 7. Now we're going to next write out some of our quick multiples of 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 2 times 5 gives us 10. And 2 times 10 gives us 20. All right, now we have to figure out how many times 2 can go into 400. We can multiply it by 100. So let's do that. So we're going to write a 100 on to the side, and we're going to do 100 times 2, which is 200. So we're going to subtract 432 minus 200. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. We can subtract another group of 100. So we'll write a 100 down here. 2 times 100 is 200. So we'll subtract 232 minus 200. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. We cannot do another group of 100 because that would be way too big, but we can do a group of 10. So we'll do a group of 10. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, we do know, knowing our multiples of 2, that 2 times 6 gives us 12. So we can write a 6 down here, and we'll subtract 12. 2 minus 2 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we don't have a remainder, which is good. But now we have to add up all of these numbers to figure out if that gives it, to figure out what our quotient is, and then to check. So 100 plus 100 is 200. 200 plus 10 is 210. 210 plus 6 is 216. So we're going to multiply 216, which is our quotient, by 2, which is our divisor. So 6 times 2 is 12. Write our 2, carry our 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 gives us 3. 2 times 2 is 4. That matches our dividend perfectly. So our quotient is 216. One more example. So we're going to be dividing 4,569 divided by 3. Same exact layout, just has an extra number. So we're going to be having 3 as our divisor in the outside of the house. 4,569 is our dividend inside the house. Draw our line, and then we're going to write some of our multiples of 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 5 gives us 15. And 3 times 10 gives us 30. All right, so now we're going to look at 4,000 because that's our first number. We're going to think, what times 3 can get us closest to 4,000? So we know that 3 times 10 gives us 30. So if we add in 2 more zeros, we could get 3,000. So if we multiply by 1,000, so 1,000 times 3 gives us 3,000. So we can subtract that. 9 minus 0 is 9. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 3 is 1. So now we have 1,569. So we do know that we can't multiply by 1,000 again because that would be way too big. We can multiply by 100 and subtract, or we can multiply by, because 3 times 5 gives us 15. So if we multiply 3 times 500, we could get 1,500. So we're going to multiply times 500 to give us 1,500. You could also multiply by smaller increments, but I'm going to go with 500 because that gets us done quicker. So 9 minus 0 is 9, 6 minus 0 is 6, 5 minus 5 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0. So now we are left over with 69. We do know that 3 times 10 gives us 30, which we can subtract from 69. So let's do that. 3 times 10 gives us 30. So we're going to subtract that. 9 minus 0 is 9. 6 minus 3 gives us 3. So now we can still take another group of 10 out. So we'll multiply by 10 again to give us 30. 9 minus 0 is 9. 3 minus 3 is 0. We also could have done it by 20. So instead of doing 2 10s, we could have just done 20 right here, and it would have been 69 minus 60. So now, 3 times what gets us closest to 9 without going over? We can't multiply it by 10 again, but we can multiply it by 1. But we know using our multiples, 3 times 3 gets us 9. So we're going to use 3. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. So 9 minus 9 is 0. So now we're going to add up all of these numbers. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 3 gives us 3. 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 gives us 2. 0 plus 5 gives us 5. And 1. Bring it down. So now we know that our quotient is 1,523, but we need to double check that with our multiplication. So we're going to multiply our quotient, which is 1,523, by our divisor, which is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. Write our 5, carry our 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 gives us 4. And it matches our dividend. So our quotient is 1,523. That's it for today. I will talk with y'all tomorrow.